Hello, I'm Rebecca, and welcome to Masterful Chats. Masterful Chats are short, clear, concise, clarifying conversations designed to uplift, empower, inspire, and support you as you move along your path and in your spiritual journey. And I'd like to say hello and welcome to all of my wonderful subscribers, and welcome to all of those of you who are viewing me for the very first time. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It'll really help the algorithm of the channel. And today's chat is about the most important thing that each one of us can do to move forward along the spiritual journey and to enhance our lives and be powerful creators. But first, for those of you who are viewing me for the very first time, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am an information synthesizer, a mystical scholar, and an intuitive. And from my near-death experience, I know in my heart and entire being that each one of us is known by God and we are loved completely, totally, and beyond measure. And please remember to stay to the end of the video, the end of the chat, because I will be offering you a spiritual tip to help you move through your days with more ease and grace and peace. So now, let's chat about the most important thing that each one of us can do, not only to aid our personal and spiritual growth, but to aid in the ascension of Earth and humankind. And that one thing, it sounds very, very simple, and in fact it is, but it is critical. And the one critical factor is that we become aware. We become aware of the monkey mind. We become aware of the ego. We become aware when we are reacting versus responding. Growing up in the third dimension, as most of us did, the ego was in charge. When you're growing up in a world that is unsafe, the ego does have a very, very important role to play when one grows up in the third dimension. The third dimension is not based on love and trust, and the ego gives us our sense of self. It gives us a sense of separateness. It gives us a sense of identity from the whole. But the primary focus and job of the ego is to keep us safe. And in keeping us safe, an unchecked egoic mind will literally do anything to keep you safe, to the point of killing you to do so. We've all had the monkey mind. We've all had those racing thoughts where we're perpetually beating ourselves up, where we're telling ourselves what a failure we are, what we can't do, what we should have done better, where we're trapped in the past with victimization and pain, where we persecute others out of fear. And an egoic mind, one that constantly loops, one that constantly criticizes, one that constantly persecutes, can be very, very detrimental to our health and well-being. The other factor with the egoic mind is if we're having thoughts racing in our head, they're primarily in the past, or they're anticipating things that may happen in the future. We're not in the present moment. And if we're not in the present moment, we're not creating consciously the life that we want to create. Because it is only in the present moment that the magic can truly happen, that we can create the life of our dreams. So if you find your mind racing, if you find that your thoughts are going down well-trodden lanes and loops within your brain, stop. Take a breath, stand back, and breathe. And it is in that moment, that conscious moment, where we recognize what is going on internally, the internal dialogue, that we can truly change the trajectory of our lives. Because being conscious, being aware, and being awake, as I like to call it, is where we control our destiny, where you control your destiny, only in the present moment. Going over past grievances and limitations and defeats and hurts, it only hurts us once again. And just like in a movie theater, if you're seeing a very, very scary movie and your body is in hyperdrive and is on alert, your body does not know any difference between you sitting in a movie theater and having all of that energy come through your body versus actually being in a situation where you are in danger. And if the body is under constant stress, constant anxiety, constant siege, some ill effects can occur. So by being in control of our thoughts and of our feelings and of our emotions, we regulate what we put through our bodies. And as I would like to remind you, thoughts are electrical and emotions are magnetic. And everything that we think, do, feel, and say goes through our bodies. And if we're running around harried and in a state of anxiety, our body is feeling it. So if you can think back to a day where you were absolutely rushed, where you were going from one thing to the other, where you were running out of time, think back to how that impacted your physical being. Compare that to a day where maybe you got up on a Sunday and fixed yourself a nice breakfast and relaxed and read some books. Maybe you took a walk. And think about how your body felt on that day. A big difference, huh? And mastering your thoughts, words, feelings, and emotions, that is really the true measure of an alchemist. Because when you do regulate your thoughts, words, feelings, and emotions, you become a very, very conscious and powerful creator where you can thrive, not just survive, where you can thrive. And we all want to be happy. We all want to be successful, however we define that. We all need love and light and laughter in our lives. And if we're having our egoic mind beat us up and stick us in a dark closet and lock the door, that isn't going to get us there. So if those thoughts do come to you, and if you do realize that you're repeating an old pattern, stop and ask yourself, where did this come from? Is it something that you've always just taken for granted that someone told you about yourself or your abilities or your capabilities? Is it a traumatic situation that happened to you that you can't seem to get beyond? Whatever the case it is, if you need some help, please reach out to someone who can help you. Because the 3D matrix does traumatize human beings. But the positive news is that we can make the appropriate decisions to move forward and to have lives of joy and love and laughter. We are very, very, very powerful creators. And yet, most individuals in the world just go from one task to the next and are very, very unconscious because the thoughts and words and feelings that they've been feeling perhaps for decades have always been with them. And you don't know what you don't know until you know. So if you find yourself on autopilot, if you find yourself beating yourself up, your egoic mind beating yourself up, stop, take a breath, stand back, get centered, and ask yourself, where is this coming from? And is it something you need to address, or is it like, oh no, I just kind of let my mind go and I've dealt with this. So then you bring yourself back into the present moment with your focus. Because that is where the magic happens. That is where you can create your best life ever. So it does sound very, very simple, and it is, but it is not necessarily easy. But I know that you're up to the task and you can do it. And we all fall off. We all have oops. We all have some days that are better than others. But that's exactly what we're meant to learn and experience is while we're here on earth. We're not meant to be perfect. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and be kind to yourself. And please let me know your thoughts on this Masterful Chat. I'd really appreciate that. And now, as promised, I'd like to offer you the spiritual tip to help you move through your days with more ease and grace and peace. When I have a reoccurring thought that comes to me, and I want to be able to change my pattern or to short circuit it, I think of something that brings me great joy, whether it's a happy memory or whether it's a picture of a beloved animal. But I short circuit that thought that's causing me stress or duress and is not in my highest and greatest good. Thank you for being with me for this Masterful Chat. I truly appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave any comments that you'd like. And as always, wherever you're at in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Until we chat again, blessings.